So I want to start off by getting like my ones and my twos and the highlight of my sphere. So I want to get just a scoop of this white. Okay. So I have a clean brush right now. I'm gonna scoop some of this white into another palette, another piece of the palette. Separate little section, and scoop some of the white in here because I want to have pure white in case I need it later to add those other little finishing touches. You don't want to mix directly into the white. You want to grab some and set it aside. Now to get a tint, do I want to start with the lighter or the darker color? The lighter, yes. So now I'm going to grab. Let me get some of this white off of here because I also want to leave my yellow nice and clean. So I'm washing off some of that. I got a damp brush. I need all this side chatter to stop so I know you guys are listening. I haven't given out yet. Don't worry. We're going to start with our tints. Now I'm going to grab a dot of the yellow. Little bitty scoop. And I'm going to mix that into this white. So one of your partners is mixing the tints. Someone's mixing the tints. I need a little more water. I'm going to grab just a teeny bit more water to mix in. Now, when I am shading, think back to those pencil shadings we were doing of our spheres. Do I want to shade in like a straight line across? No. In a curve. In a curve. So I've got this sphere because I want to shade in the same shape as my object. So my first highlight, my one, I want that to be like a round shape. I'm going to start by putting this highlight right up here at the top. And if your paint is like really thick, it's not really moving, you can add just like a little dab of water. And you can start making that white tint right up here. So I'm copying the same shape as our example over there to the left of the screen. See it over there? I want that circular shaped highlight. So each one of these little slices, all of these tints and shades of our hue, you want to make sure that you are forming them in this shape. So I have this round shape here at the top. Each piece is going to be like a crescent shape. So as we keep adding tints and shades, you want to be able to see that kind of shape, that curve all the way around.
Yeah, because the lines is kind of rough. Practicing kind of better with your base space, so you have a little. David, let me see yours. Oh, yeah. This is bad water.
Ooh, mine? Because I got a lot of water in
Okay, how are we doing?
there.
And we got our first one. If you guys weren't here for the tints and shades, you guys gotta come back and do that another time. Alright. Now, let's talk about highlights. This cap is red, but do you notice how in the light there's a bright white highlight? Kind of jumps around as the light hits it in different ways. You guys see that?
Yeah.
Now, anything that has kind of like that glossy finish, you're going to get these bright, shiny highlights on them. If I look at this stapler, look at these little white highlights right here. Now, I want to see that on this sphere. So I am going to get some of this extra paint off. I'm like brushing it off on the side. I'm going to clean my paintbrush a little bit. I'm swirling it around in the water. Get off that extra water. Still a little bit damp. And now I want to grab some of this pure, just plain white. Just a little bit of this pure white right here. Probably too much. Just plain white. And right here, we're going to add that glossy white highlight. Right, yeah, right in the middle of that tint. So you can really see that highlight. And it pops. Beautiful. So I got my one bright white highlight. Got some tints going on here. Got two, like 1 to a 2 right here. Now, am I gonna go, as I move away from this, kind of down this way, am I gonna go lighter or darker?
Darker.
Darker, yes. So I'm gonna get one more little scoop of yellow. Not a scoop. It's like a little, just kind of like a little dab of the yellow. And I want to mix that in to the tint that I've already started. So now I'm just going to mix in some more yellow here. No one should be touching the black paint yet. Nobody. Ta-da! And it is all mixed in. And now, after I've mixed, as I start to add this next tint onto my sphere, watch me here. I'll wait till we're all done mixing. And everyone's looking up here. I'm going to paint. Someone's moving something. Yes. My next tint I want want to paint in that same rounded shape. It's like a C. See? That's so funny.
Oh, you're still in my class? Yes.
Yeah, well, let me see which one.
Yeah, but you're still
Going in a curved C shape. And then if you want that to blend a little better, you can grab just a teeny bit of water. A teeny bit. Stop making it funny. I'm just kidding. I like it. I'm doing it on purpose because it makes you remember things. I'm going to use the water to help me blend into that lighter color. The water, having a damp brush and adding a little bit of water will help the paint move and be more fluid. Okay, I'm gonna come around and see how we're all doing. So,
How did you feel like you've done the most choice?
Oh, I got them all right.
You just know.
Why would you play out?
Did you play the alcohol? Smooth.
Yeah, next question. Oh, you got live like. Yeah, I'll start the. No,
Dude, nobody can go. Not me, not my friend Desiree, not Kelvin. The dude who asked me, hey, can I hang out with you? Not even. Anyway, well, it looked like we're having some of my friends. So I good, because I wasn't going to go. I guess not. I know, right? Like, your friendship was 4 years. Just right. Kind of, but also, she never told me anything. You know what I mean? Like, she didn't even tell me when they were first dating. Like,
Why is she always doing?
yeah.
Well, not again. Yeah. He's smart.
Anyway.
I remember when he went to come to Maria to talk to her. He just like talk to her. Give us a word.
Gladly.
I know.
It's
It's a challenge. All right, good stuff, everybody. Good stuff, good stuff. Where did we leave off? I'm going to grab one more little drop of yellow. One more drop of yellow into my tint. Yeehaw. I'm mixing in more yellow. If you aren't working, you need to be aware that your partner, who is mixing everything, they don't have to do this by themselves, okay? Whoever is mixing the tint right now, your partner is going to mix the shade. This is a partner palette activity. So you need to be working together. And if you're mixing the tint right now, you get to lay back next time and your partner is going to mix the shade. So everyone has got to be working on mixing. Now I have added in a little more yellow. I'm at a 4 right now. I'm at like a 4. And now I'm going to use the same shape to make one more C shape of tint. Ooh, and notice how it's starting to turn a little bit more yellow each time. Do you have a brush? Do you have a worksheet?
Mine's a little blender. That's a little so cute.
What did I do? Sienna, who invited
That
me
is
to
my
this
4. What comes after 4? 5. What number is 5 on our value scale? True hue. True hue is number 5. I can hear you guys back there. True hue. Making fun of me. Yeah. I just cleaned off my brush a little bit so I don't have all the white all over it. Oh no. I'm going to dab off the extra water. Don't mix over your paper. Don't hold the water over your paper like I am. I'm a pro. I'm just doing this so you guys can see. Do as I say, not as I do. Have a clean brush. Carolina, what is number 5? What did we call that on our value scale? True hue. What's another word for hue? Color. I'm going to grab some yellow. Just pure old yellow. True hue. And that is going outside of our last tint.
The what? Well, no, we just use a regular yellow. Next.
Now, if that's looking too dark, make sure you've got a damp brush because you can kind of blend that paint together. Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy? Crazy. I've got my true hue. Isn't painting fun?
No.
Yeah.
I'm sad.
I heard a few yeses. I heard some tireds.
Are we going to do this?
You said how does this contribute to society? That's what David said.
I said the fact that we're going to do this in the painting. actual paint. It's gonna stress me out.
That reminds me, this brings me to a good point. We need to learn the basics before we can really start to create, right? You need to learn the tools, and you know what, Samantha, now I'm gonna have you go around and give people black who don't have it.
Damn.
No, I think mine looks good.
Ciao.
What?
That's fine.
Thank you. Just so
Alright.
No, David.
Okay, at least you can tell it's going.
No, it's
Samantha is dropping off a small little bit of black paint for anyone whose palette doesn't have it.
It's her, not you.
Remember, we hardly need any at
not.
all.
Not a curve. It's a sphere.
That's like a. Oh,
She said do it in a C shape. It's a C shape. It's like a crescent.
But we need to learn how to paint and learn those basics of how to use our materials before we can create something new.
ooh, come on. This is still a while.
Yeah, they literally send me a
Yeah. It's like, well, good luck now. Thank you for the application.
starting to annoy me. It was on Instagram. Like, they were so enthusiastic.
Great shapes. Very nice. Good shapes. Little artists. Very good. Okay. Let's see. Thank you. Do we all have black on our palette?
Yeah.
Let's say, how did we get number 6 on our value scale?
Dipping the paintbrush in black and then putting it on the yellow.
Yes, so we started with yellow, right? Then we got a little bit of the what?
Black.
The black, just a little teensy bit. And we mixed it with the yellow to get our next shade. Now, don't do it yet. Stop. Stop. Whoever mixed the tint, take a break. Take a load. Your partner will now mix the shades for you. Sit back. Partners who did not mix the tint, time to wake up. Now watch me. Watch me now.
You know?
Okay? I'm going to get a couple scoops of the yellow. I put them in a new little, spot on the palette just in case I need this yellow for later. Okay. Now I'm just gonna dip the edge of my brush in here, get a little bit extra yellow off. In a new spot. And now a teeny little baby amount of black. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Teeny bit. Just a tiny bit. You're right, there might be a little too much. Just want a little bit of the black. And then you're gonna mix that with the yellow that you've set aside. Okay. Now I'm still gonna go in that same C shape, like a crescent. Oh no. As I fill this in. Okay, I'm wiping off the extra shade because I have a little too much over the edge. I've got a wet brush. I'm going to use that to blend some of that shadow. Grab a little yellow. Blending in my first shade. I want to give you guys enough time to clean at the end of class. Now I'm going to grab one more little dot of the black. And mix it into the shade to get a 7. Are you mixing? Now my 7 is going to go in a round shape. Now, what did we call that little white area, or not white, the lighter area that gets reflected on the object? It's the reflected light. Now, that reflected light is going to be a little bit lighter than the darkest shadow on our sphere. So I'm going to use my 7 that I just mixed for a 6, somewhere a little lighter, and I'm going to paint that down here for my reflected light. It's on the sphere right here. Now to get an 8, the last area that I haven't painted yet down here on my sphere, I want to grab one more baby dot of the black and mix it into the shade. There's my 8. I'm going to leave room for my reflected light. So my darkest values will be right down here. There's my reflected light. Left a little space down there. We have one more shade to mix. Where do you think my last shade, so I'm going to grab a little more black. Where do you think this last one's going to go? On the cast shadow, yeah, down here at the bottom. You want to have your darkest value down here. So, yeah, I'm going to grab a bunch of this stuff. So I've got my 9 dark shadow down here. And I'm going to fill in my cast shadow.
You just put that black. Because like,
I like that.
Okay.